first question.
Questions?
I'm buntag, sir. Ian Navarro from CCTN Channel 47. May pagkapot diri sa Sugpo. At ang inyo pong pagbisita po rito sa Cebu ay may connection po ba sa napapatuloy na investigasyon ng flood control projects?
Yes, isa yan sa mga mahalagang agenda namin, alituntunin namin. Ipinunta rito sa Cebu. We looked at the projects of flood control here in Cebu. And from our understanding, for the past 6 years, 60 billion has been poured into Cebu. And most of it, or 25% went to, about of it went to 7th District. 7th District. And 25% of it also went to a leading contractor, Kirante. And that should be a lot of money to control the flooding. But apparently, the past month, flooding happened again here in Cebu. So we have to look at what's happening. Is it the design? Is it the execution? Or is it just corruption? Titingnan natin and we will find out and we will know. And of course, the grand design of corruption in DPWH became very apparent. No, wala talagang bidding na. Kaya isa yan sa sinuggest ko rito sa ating mga tao dito is that we lobby for digital tools through the law na lahat talaga transparent na. Ang bidding from the barangay up to the executive department, dapat dyan, digital na. Dapat may digital billboard for everybody to know and to see and to investigate. It should be a duty for people to record everything digitally so that transparency is promoted. Kaya ang bisita ito talaga is really to be able to ascertain many things, and one of them is actually flood control.
Next question, follow-up.
Good morning, may buntag, Ombudsman Nimolia, sir. I'm Alan Domingo of GMA Regional TV. Sir, how many flood control projects in Cebu is now under the scrutiny of the Anti-Graft Office?
We're looking at everything actually. Unahin namin yung mga binahan ng flood. Yung lugar ng mga baha, titignan natin how effective flood control was. Or
Sir, hold on. Audio.
okay na?
So,
Ano naman?
Alright, it's the other mic.
Ian, where's the mic?
Hello.
Na lang.
There.
Ayan, so that's the mic po ata. Okay, sir, go ahead po. Picking up on the question of how many
How many?
yung ating pong iniimbestigahan.
Well, we're looking at the 60 billion universe. The 60 billion for the past 6 years poured into the Cebu area. It's important. No? But of course, we're looking at the whole Visayas. No? Eastern Visayas is an area of focus. Bohol, we're looking at some areas of Bohol. Tacloban, we're looking at Tacloban. Specifically because the speaker came from Tacloban and was able to pour in a lot of money to Tacloban. And we know that Negros Oriental has its own flood control projects. And we will look at them. Alam naman natin, it's important to be able to look at the universe and to look at every specific area. And we will use the tools within our disposition dito. And of course, the dialogue with the people in the Office of the Ombudsman Visayas is very important, where we want to know what tools they need to be able to execute their jobs properly. So it's really a feeling of process. And 10 months na. Today, 10 months na ako sa office. I was appointed 10 months ago. So it's about time that I was able to go around. Kasi naset na naman namin ang parameters ng activity namin for the central office. So now we go to Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao to check on many things happening.
Thank you.
Next question.
Sir, good morning po. Annie Perez po from ABS-CBN. Sir, you're expected to do an inspection po later. What are you expecting to find? And to what are there specific names of officials that we should be aware of when it comes to the flood control scandal, specifically in Cebu?
Wala pa kaming, we will not name names yet. But probably, as earlier discussed, we have to look at the whole region. The whole region. And the Office of the Regional Director of DPWH will be under scrutiny. And of course, the district engineers will be scrutinized also as to the output that they have. But yun nga, yung flooded areas, titignan namin talaga. Diyan tayo masisimula. Yung mga nagbahal na lugar, we will look at it and look at the projects that were executed in those areas.
Sir, good morning. Rico Osmeña po sa DYMA at sa Daily Tribune po. Sa Waterfront 2 sa Cavite. Ang Busong Rimunda, meron po ba tayong siniset na timeline para na meron ba tayong mag-file na kaso? And medyo ang mga Cebuano, may isang taon na po naghihintay ito po sa faction rule, yung mga kongresista dito, napakatahimik. Mukhang napipis.
Then, we always go by the evidence. So we're establishing that now. There will be cases filed by the Office of the Ombudsman Visayas soon. But it's not enough. We have to go more. Ito lang yan. I have to remind everybody. We cannot file cases just like that or put people in jail just like that. We need the evidence. Kailangan ng evidence patibay para mailatag namin yung kaso. And the courts expect no less. We respect that role of the court to be able to sift through evidence before they decide. Of course, it doesn't mean that we will just accept everything. We want things to be set specifically so that we can draw a lesson from this flood control problem. Kasi the impunity of corruption is just too much already. In an area where you see shanties everywhere, especially in our country, by the waterfront, by the riverside, by the sea, alam natin talaga that even that alone is a sign of corruption. Pag nagpabaya yung barangay, may magtitirik ng bahay sa mga prohibited areas. So it's something that has to happen. We will just ask everybody to participate. Kaya nga, we're drawing up transparency and open communications for the Office of the Ombudsman para makita namin yung reklamo ng tao. Ngayon sabi ko nga, from the time, the way that we live, kagaya nung nasa DOJ ako, alam ko na may nangyayari. Paglabas pa ng opisina namin, may mga tindahan sa bangketa. And then, the people just walk in the streets. Sino kumikita? Di ba may kumikita sa barangay? Diba? I mean, from that level of corruption up, kailangan pansinin natin kasi it's the way that we live. Pag tinanggap yan sa ilalim, tatanggapin mo sa itaas. Pag tinanggap niyo sa itaas, tatanggapin sa ilalim. So we have to work at both ends of the spectrum na hindi lang itaas ang papansinin mo, dapat lahat pinapansin. And that's why I have committed to hire more lawyers here, and we will get 20 more lawyers to serve in the Ombudsman Visayas office. Prosecution and fact-finding and preliminary investigation purposes. Yan ang ating kailangan gawin.
Good morning, sir. Dave Sel from One News Signal TV. I'd just like to ask, sir, your reaction. There's the NBI has actually asked for the investigation of a flood control project, a ghost flood control project in Barangay Sing Sing in Balamban. One congressman, or ex-congressman, is saying that there's no such thing as a ghost flood control project in Barangay Sing Sing, that's in Balamban. Your reaction on this, sir?
When we look at the coordinates, ano yan when we are given a job like this, the first thing we do is look at the coordinates. Because it's so easy, it was so easy before to transfer stations and to double count. One project will be 2 items, so they double count it. So we will look at that. We will look at the location through the tools that we have digitally, so we know if it's really ghost or not ghost, if substandard, or basta lahat ng pwedeng makitang violation. So it's possible that it's ghost, but we will have to check and verify and validate.
Next question.
Of course, we're also into conducting lifestyle checks on the district engineers and the other engineers of DPWH. I don't really want to hyper-focus on them, but probably we start with them. Diyan muna masisimula from the engineers and the contractors also at the same time.
Sir,
Para maka-corner kasi pati ano we're also looking at the no bidding phenomenon. Yung rig bidding, tinitingnan din natin yan. We're looking at that also. So that we can clean up house in the soonest possible time.
Next question.
Next question.
Sir, may punto dyan sa from Radyo Pilipinas Cebu. Apart from those who have may mga na-file ng case or the ones that are visible here sa Metropolis, the Pokot Lusaran River is one of the biggest issues here in Cebu, which has hit multiple LGUs like Upland, Cebu City, Liloan, Mandaue, and even Compostela. How are we looking into this, the flood control project and issue scandal involving multiple LGUs and the contractor?
Ano nga yan? Kasi nga, the whole Cebu province and city, all the districts of Cebu, 60 billion in 6 years. So far, that's what we've accounted for. No? And when we look at it logically, and of course, sa performance, one instruction I gave earlier is that we will check, we have to check the way that these projects were executed. Ang standard kasi dyan, over spec. The specs are very high, but because it cannot be seen by the naked eye, they don't comply. Example, sheet piling flood control structures is set at 14 meters as a national standard. Is it the proper standard? Or is it over specified? Ang experience namin in Luzon, in Bulacan, yung 14 nagiging 4 meters na. So yung 10 meters kita na yun. But that's not complying with it is a grievous sin, of course. Because that's what the contract said, is that they should abide by the contract. And one thing that I'll tell you, it's not very easy to do flood control investigation because the contracts are very thick. AI can be used, but it cannot be used completely because we have to look at these contracts properly. Kaya, proving our cases is possible, is always possible, but it's not as easy as it seems. It's easy to conclude, but to prove is harder, and our job is to prove.
Next question.
Hey, Mike.
Next.
Welcome to Cebu po, Ombudsman John Sichon from Rappler. We want to ask if may update na ba sa case ni Revilla and the appeal of the Ombudsman to the Sandigan Bayan?
Wala pa kaming update. We filed a motion for reconsideration. And of course, we're also setting into play 2 other strategies for this purpose. We are looking at the transcript of records of the trial and to see if there was any bias on the part of those who laid out the decision for bail. And the other side of it is, of course, to enlighten them that the evidence is very, very much connected to each other. What holds for him should hold for the other co-accused, 21 other co-accused. Kaya, ba't isa lang ang binigyan ng bail? Sana lahat binigyan ng bail. Kung talagang wala kaming ebidensya. Kaya, ito may kaso na may tinitingnan, may tinititikan. In other words, is it a biased one? No, but we're not concluding anything. We're not concluding anything. But we just want to enlighten the court about what's happening or what may have missed in the process of granting bail. Kasi nga, 21 yung accused eh. Kung ang isa pwede, Dapat lahat yan pwede. Pero it's already too much. Remember the anti-plunder law looks at patterns. It doesn't ask for every detail. It just looks for the pattern to be able to prove the case. It's specifically so stated in the law. That's why we may have to enlighten the court again about our point of view on the Revilla Bay ruling.
Next question.
No more?
Turn on the mic.
Sir, good morning, sir. John Arroa from TV5. Sir, just like to ask lang, kasi you mentioned daw before na iniugnay natin yung pagbawi ng mga testigo sa flood control sa kampo ni former Speaker Congressman Martin Romualdez. May mga evidence po ba tayo na to support this claim po?
Who will benefit? Who will benefit from the retraction? I'm asking you. Who will benefit from the retraction? I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. Who's going to benefit from the retraction? No. Kaya nga, sino nga? Let me give your answer.
Sir, sa pagbawi ng mga testimonya ng mga testigo, sa tingin niyo po ba ay will we still have strong case?
It will show a pattern. It will show a pattern, actually. That efforts are being made to make people not tell the truth. Kasi twice na nga sinabi yan eh. Sa affidavit of 18, sinabi. But we are not accepting that. Individual affidavit na yan. We have pictures, we have recordings of the process by which these affidavits were taken with their own free will. That's why, who benefits?
Good morning, Ombudsman. Kaiser Fontes from the Manila Times. You've said earlier during your speech that it will be the next 3 years will be intensely about fighting running after those liable. And you've talked about heavily on flood control projects. But what are other government projects that are prone to corruption that the office is also trying to look into?
Marami yan eh. Marami yan. It's not just actually DPWH. Sabi ko nga kanina, barangay pa lang, tingnan na namin eh. And in the transparency in all offices, local government offices has to happen. Kaya nga legislation na hinahanap namin para electronic means, mandatory ang reporting. Lahat ng bidding process dapat recorded. Dapat yan open, dapat yan live. Pwede naman eh, digital tools lang yan. Doesn't cost more than what the equipment that they have. A cell phone can actually transmit the information needed by everybody to know if the transparency is being practiced. Kaya it's not rocket science. So we're looking at from local government, we're looking at DPWH, and flood control. We're looking at other schemes to make money out of government. Marami yan. Ghost electricity. Tingnan na namin yung ghost electricity, yung ginawa sa solar. And of course, it's a very important thing that we have to prove. At saan pala, we're looking at Antique pala. Sorry, I have to state that also. Panay Island, Antique, is an area of focus in Iloilo City. So, marami. The universe is there. You give me one place and I probably I can tell you where or what we're doing there.
Last two questions. Last two questions.
How about in Mindanao, sir? What kind of projects are you looking into?
Yung contractors. Ano yan eh? It's impunity at its highest point. When the people who are supposed to make the law, break the law. Diba? It's something that we have to stop from happening already. Pag yung mayor at yung congressman, parehong contractor, paano na tayo lahat yan? We know that it becomes a motivation for public service. It's not anymore public service. It's service to yourself. Eh, ba't ka pa rin pupunta dyan? Why are you taking that office? If that's your only aim, is to serve yourself. Diba? Public service dapat yan eh. So, ang talaga tinitingnan natin dyan, conflict of interest. Everywhere in the country, we start with that. We have to start with conflict of interest. We have to return to decency. Sana naman maging decente yung ating mga kasama sa gobyerno. That's what we want to happen.
Last question. Last question.
Hello, sir. Good morning. I'm Carmen Pedroza of Business Mirror. Sir, I'd like to make a follow-up on the transparency that you mentioned earlier, that you want to push for the legislation of transparency down to the barangay level. Moving forward, sir, have we talked with some legislators who will support this bill or legislation that you wanted to push, sir? And then second question, sir, is if are you set to meet local officials this afternoon or during your visit here in Cebu?
Ito muna, no? I've been in dialogue with the Speaker and the Senate President, who are both my friends from the past. And we actually can agree on many things that are needed, and we will prioritize these measures that we will invoke or will ask for. Kasi nga, it's about time that the people helped us. Dapat tumutulong ang taong bayan sa lahat ng ginagawa namin. Hindi pwede yung uncaring attitude ng maraming tao. But if the people care, it should happen. Sabi ko nga kanina, nung wala kayo doon sa meeting namin sa loob, look at Alex Iana, di ba? The Filipinos are all there cheering her on, looking for a hero, looking for something good about our country. And probably it's all what we all want for our country now. We have that spirit to cheer, we have the spirit to care, and probably that's what we're asking the people for, to care about what's happening around them. And to show that disgust, and to think about, to read about all of these things so that they are aware of the consequences of the actions. Ang example ko, simple lang, ano? In Mindoro, in Nauhan, they allocated 16 billion pesos for flood control for 100,000 people. And only 10,000 are really affected by the flood, maybe less. 2 billion would have transferred them to a better location and no more flood control. So you can see that that we have to think of it in that light of national interest. And what's the problem of Mindoro? Ang problema ng Mindoro, kuryente. If that 16 billion was spent building something like a solar system, a solar electric system that would be done, that if it's only possible legally, because the EPIRA law restricted access also. Kaya we have to look at our legal system again and see how we can benefit from the money that we can allocate for specific projects. The EPIRA law is one of the things for us. We advocate for because of the Legarda case, because of the Legarda and Viste cases. It sought us to ask the President to prioritize the amendment of the EPIRA law. Kasi ang daming problema. Ang mahal-mahal ng kuryente, di ba? All of us suffer through that. Kaya we have to look at the regulators and regulatory capture and how we can make life better for every Filipino. Ano yan eh? If you look at the government structure, ang ombudsman is supposed to be protector of the people. It's also stated in the Constitution and in the law. And we have to tip the balance in favor of the people. Hindi dapat yung powerful. It should be for the powerless. We have to tip the balance for those ordinary Filipinos. Yun lang naman ang role ng opisina namin. Nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Salamat.